You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week.
Hi, everyone. I'm Walt Gray. You're watching ABC 10 This Week. Governor Gavin Newsom speaking publicly for the first time since announcing that he and first partner Jennifer Newsom are under federal investigation. What he had to say. In dollars and cents, Xfinity customers may qualify for a $117 million settlement. What you need to know. Then the back roads. John Bartell takes us on a horseback ride through the immigrant wilderness. ABC 10 This Week starts right now.
Well, it was 3 weeks ago, Governor Gavin Newsom said he and his wife were under federal investigation.
Newsom has accused President Trump of coming after him for political purposes.
ABC 10 State Matters political reporter Jenny Huh is here now with a new update.
Well, this morning we heard from the governor directly for the first time since he announced a little over 3 weeks ago he had joined what he calls President Trump's hit list.
We continue to, maintain vigilance as it relates to the just weaponization by the Department of Justice and other power ministries under the Trump administration.
Governor Gavin Newsom at an unrelated press conference Thursday speaking on the federal investigation he says is going on into his wife, first partner Jennifer Newsom, and himself. Newsom announced just over 3 weeks ago that the U.S. Department of Justice was investigating them and had been reaching out to people in his personal and political circles.
In recent days, federal agents have knocked on the doors of family, friends, and former employees. Not because they found a crime, because they're simply trying to find one. Donald Trump isn't just coming after me because of my mean tweets. He's coming after me because I'm considering running for president.
But still, nothing official from the DOJ. We followed up with the department Thursday to ask if charges have been filed and whether the governor and first partner would be subpoenaed. A spokesperson said the department does not comment on investigations. On that topic, can you explain more why you decided to reveal those details first, Governor? In the video, you also acknowledged that you are considering the 2028 presidential run. So again, can you emphasize more your decision?
That was table stakes. And it's pretty obvious that I'm not timid as it relates to calling out the abuses of the most corrupt administration in American history. So I wanted to socialize it because I thought it was the right thing to do. People need to know what's going on. And there's a certain point where it's just enough's enough.
So far, all we know from a source familiar with the matter is that there are multiple federal probes into people around Newsom. One related to his wife's taxes. Newsom is a documentary filmmaker overseeing several nonprofits. This news has sparked criticism over millions of dollars in behested payments to those nonprofits. Reports show Newsom asked for some of those donations, which isn't illegal but often frowned upon. Another probe related to Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, who will be sentenced in September after pleading guilty to federal charges for her role in siphoning funds from a dormant campaign account of former Attorney General and leading Democratic candidate for governor Javier Becerra.
It's unfolded in, sort of the politics of the time, which is Newsom, big figure, taking Trump on every day.
Newsom's office has also requested all public records from the DOJ pertaining to himself and the first partner since the start of the second Trump administration. Newsom says he has not received a response. He would not answer whether he and Newsom have hired their own attorneys. Laura.
All right, Jenny Huh, thank you for that update.
As California heads towards November's election for governor, we're asking, what does the state's housing crisis actually need from its next leader to be fixed? ABC10's Becca Habegger joins us now for a look at a recent statewide survey that sheds light on this very issue.
Alex, 2 out of 3 Californians call housing affordability a, quote, big problem where they live, and renters are more than twice as likely as homeowners to say the cost of housing places financial strain on them. And that's all according to the Public Policy Institute of California. So what do our 2 candidates for governor plan to do about it, and what do experts think they should do?
The independent and nonpartisan Public Policy Institute of California, or PPIC, says the median home value in California is $780,000. That's more than double the nationwide median of $370,000. The PPIC says nearly 900,000 people have left California since 2015, citing housing as a primary reason. Here in the Sacramento region, the market is showing small signs of change. Sales are up about 5% from a year ago. But Sacramento-based appraiser and housing analyst Ryan Lundquist says that's not the whole story.
The area where we're seeing the most growth, the price point, is actually between $400,000 and $500,000. And that's a ripe price point for first-time buyers.
He says the growth is concentrated at the entry level and that it's still nowhere near enough to meaningfully bring prices down.
We can't expect 2007, 2008 vibes with 2026 stats. It's just the reality of we don't have all this supply to very quickly drive down prices.
So what would he tell whoever wins in November?
I'd say continue to focus on creating more supply. Consumers don't want to just hear politicians pontificate and use those buzzwords about affordability and then simultaneously do nothing, which has pretty much been the case for so many decades.
California's two candidates for governor, Republican Steve Hilton and Democrat Javier Becerra, have said in previous interviews they hear that message.
There's nowhere better than California, but you can see how badly things have got off track. It's so expensive to live here. We've stopped building the kind of starter homes and single-family homes we used to build so well in California.
Hilton's goals include making starter homes profitable and easier to build and creating a starter home loan program.
We have to tackle this cost of living crisis. One is building more homes makes it less expensive to buy one because too big a demand means that supply can you raise the price on that supply that's out there, so we'll build more.
Becerra also says he's in support of down payment assistance for people who are currently renting.
The more options that both buyers and renters have, that can soften prices, and that's exactly what we need.
The PPIC says California's next governor needs to know laws already on the books won't fix the problem by themselves. The authors put it simply, streamlining only matters where projects are economically viable. Their advice for whoever becomes California's next governor? Keep pushing supply, but balance state enforcement with what cities can realistically deliver on the ground. I asked Lundquist what gives him hope in this market.
I'm encouraged that this year we have about 250 more newly constructed homes that have been built in the region compared to 1 year ago. Not only buyers getting more product, but that opening up other product for other people who are trying to afford and rent. That's a win.
Now, keep in mind, whoever wins in November inherits a problem some 3 decades in the making. Housing experts agree it won't be solved in one term, but they do say the difference between talk and action starts on day one.
Control of Congress is on the line this November, and some of the biggest battles are happening right here in California. Good evening, as always. Thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. Tonight, we are taking a closer look at one of the state's more competitive races, California's 6th congressional district. Now, this is one of the districts that was redrawn after voters approved Proposition 50. The district now spans portions of Sacramento, Placer, and Yolo counties. Democrat Dr. Richard Pan and Representative Kevin Kiley, who is now an independent, were the top 2 vote getters in the June primary. They will now face off in November. Pan previously served in the California Assembly and Senate and is a pediatrician. Kiley currently represents Congressional District 3 and won that seat as a Republican after the passage of Prop 50. Now, he left the Republican Party, as I just mentioned, and became an independent, so some changes there. But from health care to election security, both Pan and Kiley are giving us their take on the latest issues pressing Californians. ABC10's Judy Nguyen sat down with both of them today.
What is your take on President Trump delaying signing that Road to Housing Act?
It is quite a shame that the president is basically tying it to a partisan piece of legislation that is actually taking voting rights away as a way to try to leverage a piece of legislation that does not have the support to pass Congress. We are going to make it harder for people to vote, to basically, particularly for particular groups that have previously been disenfranchised, right?
Dr. Richard Pan was referring to the Save America Act, a voter ID law that President Trump is pushing Congress to pass before he signs the Road to Housing Act. That bill aims to bring down housing costs and build more housing nationwide.
I don't know what the delay is for, but as long as it gets signed or it becomes law, then we're in good shape. And I think it's a significant bipartisan accomplishment, which is all too rare in Washington, D.C. These days. I'm in favor of voter ID. I think it's common sense. I think the vast majority of Americans support it. It exists in pretty much every country that's a democracy in the world.
When it comes to health care, new federal data shows a large drop in enrollment in the Affordable Care Act coverage plans as premiums got more expensive this year. What's your take on the data, and how do you suggest people go about getting health insurance, especially since some people think it's too expensive?
Yeah, the cost of health insurance is an enormous burden for folks here in California and across the country. And frankly, a big piece of that is the partisanship in Washington that led to an increase in healthcare costs. I tried to stop this from happening. I introduced a bipartisan bill with Sam Liccardo from the Bay Area that we called the Fix-It Act. That would have extended these expiring subsidies.
Because of the lack of action in Congress, including by Kevin Kiley, we have middle-class families, many of them small business owners or independent contractors, people working for themselves, who are not able to afford health insurance anymore because they refused to extend tax credits that made it affordable.
With months left until the general election, Congressman Kevin Kiley is hoping Dr. Pan will participate in a series of debates.
Well, I think that he should show up and actually participate in a debate and let voters hear our records. I think this is a big district. It was just newly drawn. It has a number of different communities that crosses 3 counties. And so I think at a minimum, we should have a series of 5 debates leading up to the election so voters can see for themselves.
In June, Pan's spokesperson told ABC10, quote, Dr. Pan looks forward to debating MAGA champion Kevin Kiley. But when asked to clarify if he formally accepts the challenge.
So you know what I would say is that we're going to have an ongoing conversation, right? That's what's most important, that the voters know who they get to vote for and what each of us stand for, right? And I'm going to be sure that happens during this campaign and by Election Day.
In Sacramento, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
As far as a date for an upcoming debate, nothing has been set. It has been 1 week since Governor Gavin Newsom's return to office mandate took effect, and the union representing thousands of state workers says that the transition has been far from smooth. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen is here to share with us the difficulties state employees have been experiencing so far, and also the response from the governor tonight.
Alex, the union representing many state employees say members are raising concerns about health, safety, and crowded workspaces that they say make it harder to do their jobs. In response, the governor is standing by his words, saying that returning back to the office will benefit the community.
As the first wave of state employees start to acclimate to a new work schedule, SEIU Local 1000 President Annika Walls says productivity has been a challenge.
There's like water contamination issues. There's like rodent and bug infestation issues. There's also things like space issues, parking issues.
Governor Gavin Newsom's return to office mandate took effect July 1st, and CalHR says it affects about 108,000 employees. Many of them were on hybrid or telework schedules since the COVID-19 pandemic. SEIU Local 1000 represents many state employees and has been openly opposed to the order, saying it wastes state dollars.
I think we've shown that we can save the taxpayers' money and do our jobs efficiently and effectively, modernizing how government work is done. And the state's own data showed that on the dashboard.
Adding that employees are concerned about their health and safety. The union provided ABC 10 with this video that appears to be bed bugs within the Department of Education. This photo appears to show cockroaches in the May Lee State Office complex in Sacramento.
They're monitoring this to make sure that they're not taking these critters back to their houses, because then that means that we have to fumigate our homes. We have to buy new whatever, right, depending on the situation, perhaps pay for medical bills that were unnecessary.
During a press conference on Thursday, ABC 10 tried to ask the governor about the criticisms on the mandate now that it's officially been implemented. But this was his brief response.
I'm glad people are getting back to work. It's a healthy thing for their mental health.
Walls says members have filed official complaints about health and safety concerns from various state departments, like the Public Employees Retirement System, Department of Industrial Relations, and Department of Education. A spokesperson with CalHR says issues are initiated at the department level, and CalHR is not aware of any formal complaints related to the return to office mandate.
And I do want to note that SEIU Local 1000 is actively in contract negotiations with the state at this moment. The union is asking for fair pay, affordable health care, and of course, safe telework options. Alex.
All right, Jeannie, thank you for that update. A woman has reached a $1.2 million settlement with Sacramento County after surveillance video showed a deputy shoving her, and she was released from jail. Now take a look at this video. This is actually from October of 2025, where Arena Thim-Hardy, who has documented mental health issues, is seen being escorted by multiple deputies. reportedly asking about her release papers. Video made public through the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office transparency page also shows her refusing to sign a form without clarification. ABC 10 spoke with her attorney, Mark Marin, who says while the settlement will help with some of the recovery, it can't fully rectify the deputy's actions.
She has to be brought back to Canada. Her sons have suffered because although they're not plaintiffs in this case, they are the ones who are putting out the money to fly back and forth to Sacramento, to take care of their mother, to arrange care, to try to deal with transport. They have to try to put the property on the market. Their lives have been significantly disrupted.
Her attorney also tells us that she had to undergo long treatment after the fall broke her femur. While in the hospital for 2 months, her husband passed away. The deputy who was seen pushing her was identified as Matthew Gurich. He was placed on leave in February before being terminated in March of 2025. Gurich has been charged with 1 count of felony assault by a public officer.
In tonight's Dollars and Cents, a massive Comcast data breach may have put your personal information at risk. Now, you could be eligible for cash and credit monitoring. A Sacramento-based financial advisor I talked with says there are ways to help prevent your personal information from getting into the wrong hands.
Because our data is so vulnerable and because our lives are so digital, to remember awareness is very important.
The clock is ticking to participate in a $117 million Comcast data breach settlement. A cyber attack in 2023 impacted more than 35 million customers, exposing usernames, passwords, contact information, security answers, and in some cases, the last 4 digits of Social Security numbers. Now, certain Xfinity customers could be eligible for cash and identity theft monitoring.
What does it say about the importance of digital data and personal information that's out there on the web?
For a lot of us, in order to live our lifestyle, pay our bills, see our doctors, our information will be digital.
Maureen Paley, financial coach and advisor, says don't use the same username and password across different websites and accounts.
You want to try and follow the password protection guidance that each website is giving you. In regards to passwords and PIN numbers, maybe you change them twice a year, every quarter, maybe 4 times a year.
Paley says cyber crooks could use your information to sign up for credit and loans in your name, even sign up for health insurance in your name. Customers who receive a breach notification from Comcast are automatically included in the settlement case.
Keep watching their credit reports, keep watching their accounts, maybe watch them a little bit more often if they suspect that they may have been subject to a breach like this, just to have that peace of mind that there aren't any vulnerabilities in your own personal accounts, and if there are, you can act on them quickly.
You have until September 14th to file your claim. We have detailed information on the settlement and who qualifies on our website, abc10.com. Remember, you can stream my other Dollars and Cents stories on our free ABC10 app. Email me your money questions at lpainter@abc10.com.
Don't forget, 10 on Your Side is here to help you find solutions to issues that seem impossible to solve.
We issue millions of bills each month, and well over 99% of those are accurate. Unfortunately, mistakes do happen.
10 on Your Side got results for a PG&E customer who was hit with a more than $6,000 gas bill. They released this statement saying we made a mistake and a customer received incorrect gas bills. We're sorry for the frustration and concern this caused. We've corrected the bill so it reflects the customer's actual energy use and have replaced the equipment which reads the gas meter.
Unfortunately, we didn't catch it early enough, but we have since corrected that and apologized.
We helped a viewer in Elk Grove who was fighting for more than a year to use a $100 Home Depot gift card that he got as a Christmas present. It kept getting rejected until he reached out to 10 on Your Side. Home Depot sent us this statement saying we were able to quickly resolve this issue for Mr. Aikimoto. This is never the experience we want for a customer, and we are grateful we could help make this right.
I said, oh, wait a minute, my card was only for $100. And he said, well, we apologized. We're going to make it right. And I'm going to send you a $200 gift card.
Margie sent 10 on Your Side this message saying, I'm writing to report a significant service outage affecting Pine Brook Village in Folsom. I visited Verizon locations in Folsom and Granite Bay, but the issue remains unresolved. This is a 55-plus senior community, and many residents are currently missing medical appointments and are unable to communicate with caregivers. 10 on Your Side went straight to Verizon for answers, and within 24 hours, the issue was resolved. They sent this message saying while performing network improvements in the Folsom area, some customers may have experienced a temporary service disruption. The issue was resolved yesterday afternoon. We appreciate our customers' patience as we worked to improve their experience.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. I mean, we got the ball rolling and you took it and we're up and running, and I'm very, very thankful for that.
Yes, ABC10 is here to help. If you have a problem and don't know where else to turn, email me at onyourside@abc10.com.
2 wheels, a little determination, and a whole lot of cheering. This week's Champions of Hope takes us to Sacramento's I Can Shine Bike Camp, where the Down Syndrome Information Alliance, dedicated volunteers, and some supportive families are helping riders discover confidence, independence, and the thrill of riding a bike.
You want to be nicely balanced? 2, 1, go, go, go.
9-year-old Joey has a drive
Hello?
that's impossible to miss.
I'm gonna try my best.
And after years of trying to learn to ride a bike,
How you feeling? Good. One more time around.
this week he's finally finding his balance.
I see many videos of how to ride a bike, but the problem was I couldn't know how to do the balance.
Yep, that was really good.
Joey has autism and ADHD. His mom says learning to ride wasn't just about getting on 2 wheels, it's about building
his confidence as well. Being able to see that big smile after he rode independently for the first time, it was really awesome.
Push. There you go.
Helping make that happen are dozens of volunteers, including first grade teacher Matthew Rowe.
I wanted to volunteer and do something for the community.
For 5 days, volunteers run alongside riders, offering encouragement through every wobble, every turn, and every victory.
If my rider at the end doesn't know how to ride the bike, if we had a great time this week and I made them have fun, then that to me is good enough. And that's really just what I want to do, is I just want to spread compassion.
The camp is hosted by the Down Syndrome Information Alliance, an organization that connects families with resources and opportunities like the I Can Shine Bike Camp.
It can be a big confidence boost for them. It could be the keys to independence for them. It can be riding around the park with their friends.
And if you ask Joey,
right there. Perfect.
There's no question how he feels about everyone who's helped him get here.
Well, I have to say they're my favorite team in like the world.
Or about his favorite part of bike camp.
I have to say this entire day. Say the most ever laps I did was over a gazillion.
He did over a gazillion laps there. Now, I have to say, Joey, of course, stole our heart. But one quick story. Right before the interview, he looks at me and he goes, "Have you ever done this before?" And I said, "Yeah, I've done an interview a few times." He goes, "Okay, good. Don't be nervous." I said, "Okay, I won't be nervous if you won't be nervous." So I just want to say thank you so much to the Brown family for giving us a chance to speak to Joey. And I also want to mention that the Down Syndrome Information Alliance has more events that they're hosting this year. On July 27th, they'll be hosting a barbecue for their night slides at Sunsplash out in Roseville. For more information on how you can get those tickets, make sure you look for this story on our website at abc10.com.
In many cases, it would be difficult to drive a car to the granite ridges, the wildflower meadows, and through the vast forests that hide in the Sierra Nevada. So, in many cases, it's best to see it from the back of a horse.
You got something there. Pull back. Pull back a little bit.
Just outside of Pinecrest, California is Aspen Meadow Pack Station, the gateway to the immigrant wilderness, a rugged landscape that stretches towards Yosemite National Park.
We're gonna have Yosemite country, so we border the park, so everything's gonna be like big granite spires and alpine backcountry lakes, right? Like good fishing and beautiful rock formations and stuff. Because, we're kind of in the shadow of Yosemite, we don't get as many people here either, which makes it pretty special.
For For nearly a century, Aspen Meadow Pack Station has been introducing visitors to the wild beauty of the Sierra Nevada. Today, it's owned by Seth DeMille, who, as a kid, worked here and learned to ride.
This is my 20th summer. Yeah, at the same place, so I've never left. Yeah, I was here, 8th grade was my first summer. My mom dropped me off and I never left, so yeah. Pretty special place to me, you know?
Riding distances here vary from a half day to a week long. Our ride begins beneath the towering pines before climbing towards the scenic overlook over Bell Meadows.
We'll look out at Aspen Meadows, looking over Bell Meadows. So below us here we have about a stringer of 5 meadows that we're going to be looking at, and this is where our half-day ride goes, actually.
From the overlook, millions of years of geology are on display.
Most of this country is all carved from glaciers, right? So you're going to have everywhere you look, you're going to see a big piece of granite with a huge rock sitting on top of it.
The area's history runs nearly as deep as the canyons. Native people traveled and lived in these mountains during the summer months, and later settlers crossed these same rugged passes with wagons.
It's steep, right? And they'd get there with their wagons, and they'd have a big system of cables, and then they'd hook them up, and you'd unyoke your mules or whatever you had, and then they'd drop their wagons down with the cables.
Aspen Meadow Pack Station itself traces its roots back to 1929, helping visitors reach remote wilderness destinations long before modern roads existed.
So Aspen Meadow has been here since 1929, and I've been here for the last 20 years, so not that long. And then we first started as Strawberry Stables in the Pinecrest area and have moved to the current location in the 60s, and now we're here.
Seth says horses and riders may have come and gone, but the immigrant wilderness has changed very little. It's a place where the cell signal fades, the trails stretch for miles, and the journey is every bit as rewarding as the destination.
When I take someone 10 miles in, because of how it's not Yosemite, we can take you somewhere where you're not going to see other people. And you're just going to be there basically by yourself for a week camping, and it makes that pretty special. You get that real backcountry experience.
Riding the trails at Aspen Meadow Pack Station, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
And thank you for watching ABC10 this week. We're here 24/7 on the free ABC10 TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Walt Gray. Take care. We'll see you next time.
And remember, the ABC10 Weather Impact team is always here for you 24/7. Get the latest conditions anytime with our live 24/7 radar on our free TV streaming app. Just scan the QR code for easy instructions to download the ABC10 app wherever you stream ABC10.